Hey everyone, I love this time of year. It is almost summertime. There is about a little over a week and a half as of the time I make this video until it's officially summer. So yeah, I just got back from the farmer's market. I got some fresh veg. I'm gonna whip up something in the kitchen. But yeah, when I was a kid, it meant the end of the school year, the whole summer off. The whole summer, I would just, hang out with my girlfriends. We would do sleepovers, go on random adventures, and watch movies. But yeah, this is one of the quite a few special times of the year for me. A lot of good memories from adolescence and such, but yeah, I do try to find the good in things. But anyways, so I wanted to do another favorite movies video. I wanted to do something a bit upbeat and happy, so I was thinking of doing like rom-coms or chick flicks, but yeah, I was thinking, and yeah, rom-coms aren't really my cup of tea. I couldn't think of very many rom-coms that I really like. So yeah, I'm gonna call this video my favorite chick flicks, even though some of these are a bit more dramatic and solemn in nature. So yeah, these are going to be movies centered around women, friendships, mothers, daughters, that sort of thing, I guess. So yeah, movies like yeah, I remember, my mom, she liked Meg Ryan or whatever. So yeah, I remember her movies like Sleepless in Seattle, You've Got Mail. Adorable aesthetic, but not really my cup of tea. I've seen a lot of movies with my girlfriends, when I was a kid in the summer, that was one of our things. We would watch movies like Crossroads with Britney Spears, Grease, Bring It On, Burlesque with Christina Aguilera. We watched Glitter, the movie with Mariah Carey. And then, yeah, a lot of teen movies as well, like Mean Girls, Clueless. I really love those too. And then, some more, more serious ones as well. Like, there's this movie called The In Crowd, and then Red Riding Hood. It had Amanda, what's her last name? It's like Amanda Seyfried or something like that. Yeah, I'm just going to go through my favorite chick flicks. So, yeah. First up, I have Ghost from 1990, starring Patrick Swayze, Demi Moore, and it also has Whoopi Goldberg in it, who was great. So yeah, I really love this movie. It's really sweet and special. It's about Whoopi Goldberg, who's a psychic, the afterlife, and the main character, Demi Moore, she loses her significant other. So yeah, I thought this movie was great and really heartfelt. Next up, I have Beaches from 1988. Starring Bette Midler. So yeah, I first saw this movie, I was 9 or 10 at my friend Elizabeth's. So yeah, she had this movie, she had Grease, she had a couple other ones, but yeah, we would watch movies often and we'd be like, oh yeah, this is what life's gonna be like, when we get into high school and when we're adults and everything. So yeah, this was like our movie, right? Because the main characters, they met when they were kids, they met at the beach, they stayed in touch, throughout adulthood. So I think we kind of saw ourselves in them because there was a brunette and then there was a redhead. So yeah, I was kind of like the brunette. I was, kind of shy and serious, especially back then. I kind of loosened up a bit now, but yeah. And she was like the fun and spontaneous redhead, so yeah, I like how they met at the beach and everything, and it starts out when they were kids, and then the story continues through their adulthood. Next up, I have Never Been Kissed from 1999, starring Drew Barrymore. So yeah, it's about the main character, Drew Barrymore. She's 25 years old. She poses as a high school student to write a story. So yeah, I thought this movie was really cute and a bit... Okay, so next up I have Terms of Endearment from 1983. Starring Shirley MacLaine. So yeah, this movie is about a mother and a daughter. They have an interesting relationship, and the adult daughter develops cancer. So yeah, it really pulls at your heartstrings. Okay, so next up I have Sleeping with the Enemy from 1991, starring Julia Roberts. So this movie is drama, kind of thriller and suspense. It's about a young woman who is married to a wealthy older man who is abusive toward her. So she finally escapes. She gets a Greyhound ticket and makes it out of town. And yeah, it's about her journey of escaping that situation. So yeah, I really like this movie. It showed the main character's courage and strength, and it kind of reminded me of the cheesy little suspense thrillers I used to read in my early 20s when I was in college and everything. Next up, I have Untamed Heart from 1993, starring Marissa Tomei. So this movie was actually filmed right here in Minneapolis. So anyways, it's about a young waitress and her romance with a peculiar young man who works at the same restaurant she does. So yeah, the movie's really sweet, but the ending is quite sad. Okay, so next up I have Baby Boom from 1987, starring Diane Keaton. So yeah, Diane Keaton plays a career woman. So tragedy strikes and she becomes a caretaker for one of her relatives' newborns. So yeah, it's about her ups and downs and adapting to her new life with a baby. Next up, I have Stepmom from 1988, starring Julia Roberts and Susan Sarandon. Great actresses. So yeah, complicated situation. It's about the main character, played by Susan Sarandon. She develops cancer. She has a couple of kids with her ex-husband, who is now in a new relationship with another woman who is the stepmother to the children. So yeah, the movie is just about coming to terms with everything. Alright, so next up I have The Craft from 1996. So yeah, this was like one of our favorite movies when we were kids. So yeah, it's a little bit scary, supernatural elements. So yeah, it was pretty interesting to us. So yeah, it's about this young girl. She's a high school student. She has some psychic abilities. So she gets initiated into this group of witches in her new town. So there's 3 witches and they're looking for a 4th member, and they initiate her because of her psychic abilities and supernatural power that she has. So yeah, the movie ends up bad, but yeah, it's a good watch. Okay, so next up I have the movie Now and Then from 1995. So it stars Rosie O'Donnell, Demi Moore, Melanie Griffith. So yeah, the movie is about these 3 adults who are friends, and yeah, they're thinking back and reminiscing to when they were kids, the adventures and the mischief they got into. So yeah, I really like this movie because it was pretty relatable as far as to, you know, what they got into when they were kids and stuff. So yeah, I liked how they still had this strong bond when they were adults. Okay, so next up I have 13 Going on 30, starring Jennifer Garner. So yeah, it's about a young girl who is 13. She doesn't really fit in with the popular girls at school, so you know, she's just sick and tired of it and she just wants to be an adult. And overnight, through circumstances, she becomes an adult. So yeah, kind of funny and interesting. And yeah, I kind of like Big from 1988, starring Tom Hanks, a little bit better, but yeah, the main character is male, so it's not really a chick flick. So next up I have Made in Manhattan, starring Jennifer Lopez from 2002. So yeah, Jennifer Lopez is in quite a few rom-coms and dramas and such, but yeah, this is my favorite movie that she was in. So yeah, Jennifer Lopez plays a maid in a 5-star hotel. So she gets mistaken as a guest by one of the hotel guests who pursues her romantically. So yeah, she goes along with it, but then her true identity as a, you know, pretty much struggling hotel maid gets revealed. So yeah, definitely like this movie. Interesting plot. Next up I have Where the Heart Is, starring Natalie Portman from 2000. So Natalie Portman plays a young woman. She is pregnant. She gets abandoned by her boyfriend. She's broke. She doesn't have a place to stay. She ends up living in a Walmart. So yeah, it follows her journey through this and through her pregnancy. So yeah, I really like this movie. It turns out, you know, pretty hard. Okay, so next I have How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days, starring Kate Hudson from 2003. So the movie is about an advice columnist played by Kate Hudson. So she is looking to write a story about men and relationships. So she starts dating around to get a story for the article she's looking to write. So yeah, this is the most chick flick movie on this list, but yeah, I thought it was pretty funny, and yeah, I really liked it. Next up, I have the movie Thelma and Louise starring Susan Sarandon and Gina Davis from 1991. So yeah, the movie is about these two girlfriends. They went out for the evening. One of them ends up being attacked by a guy, who's trying to SA her. So, they kill the guy. And they think that if they go to the police, they're not going to buy, their story. The police aren't going to buy what happened. So instead, they decide to flee to Mexico. So they're on the run, and the police are after them. Gina Davis is in another couple of movies that I liked. One was called Angie, and the other one was called The Fly. And yeah, I like those as well. Okay, so next up I have Legally Blonde from 2001, starring Reese Witherspoon. So yeah, this movie is about a college student played by Reese Witherspoon who gets dumped by her boyfriend because she's too this, she's too that, she's too preppy, she's into fashion and all this stuff. So she gets into law school. She follows him into law school to try to win him back over. Actually, I think this might be the most chick flick movie on here. Okay, so next up I have Overboard, starring Goldie Hawn from 1987. So Goldie Hawn plays a rich woman. She goes overboard on her yacht, and she gets rescued by this man. He lost his wife. He's a single dad. He has, quite a few kids. His life is kind of shabby in comparison to hers. So yeah, it's pretty hilarious. Okay, so last I have Showgirls from 1995, starring Elizabeth Berkley. So I love this movie. Elizabeth Berkley plays a dancer. So she moves out to Las Vegas with a couple of bucks in her suitcase. So her goal is to be a top showgirl. So she starts taking stripper jobs, she starts taking dancing jobs, and she's trying to make a life for herself out in the city. So yeah, it just follows her career and her ascend to the top. I first saw this movie when I was 16 or 17, and I loved how she was carefree and a drifter, trying to make a career for herself. But yeah, that was it for my top favorite chick flicks or whatever. But yeah, my camera's about to die, so I gotta go. So yeah, bye.